गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुः गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुः साक्षात् परं ब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः. So here in the exercise, we didn't do it, or I can't remember if we studied it or not, but here the one of the yoga bhumikas that is given is that the inhaled air is absorbed and the exhalation of air has not yet begun. This state of air or prana is the yoga bhumika. See, and this, till you don't practice it, it will not come. You have to be at it. You have to. And what is the exercise? That the air is, you inhale the air and hold it, and then no exhalation has begun. And when there is no exhalation and you are holding there, do it right now. At that time, there is no movement of air in or out, because everything is in a kumbhak. Kumbhak means unmoving state. And at this point where there is no inward or outward movement of breath in the form of pran or apan or any other way, at that time the dharana begins, means mind starts getting focused. Dharana is that your attention becomes steady with reference to space, with reference to location, and that location is between the two breaths. And in this way, as we stay there for some time, slowly we go beyond the parameter of the desha. The three parameters that bind us are desha, kala, vastu, space, time and objectivity. For the first one, it is the desha, the space, and when we do this exercise, the mind automatically comes under control slowly and slowly. It may happen in one go depending upon your maturity, but if you keep practicing it, within a few days, within a few weeks, if your intention is clear, if your availability is there, no projection of anything in that space between the two breaths where that kumbhak is, automatically the mind starts coming under control. And eventually dharana, dhyan, samadhi. Dhyan is bringing the mind under control, or mind coming into balance with reference to time. And samadhi is with reference to objectivity. And in this way, therefore, when we are in that kumbhak, for a slight moment, and that moment keeps increasing and widening. And what is that? That the prana and apan, when there is no inhalation or exhalation, meaning inhalation has taken place but the exhalation has not begun. That point, if you catch, that is called as that both the inhalation and the exhalation have come into balance, because balance is only possible where there is no movement. And at that moment, if you maintain yourself very quickly, it doesn't take too long, you get into a no thought state. And because there is no movement, thought is a movement, and it gets propelled by the breath, the inhalation and breath exhalation. Water is quiet, it starts moving as wave because of the airs. Same way here, the mind is our mind is quiet, but it gets into activity because of the influence of inhalation and expiration. And thus, when we stay between the two breaths, there is a cessation of all thoughts with reference to desha, space, time, and object. And thus, the mind is conquered, and we go beyond the mind, because naturally the mind becomes quiet. Why we are taking the support of the breath? Because breath is inert. Breath is not, it is not a thinking mechanism. It has got no choices. It is automatic. And therefore, and we feel that without breath there is no life. This is our presupposition, and thus we take the breath as a support and dive in between the two breaths to go beyond the mind. The problem is not the breath, problem is not the body. The challenge is the mind, and therefore, what is the symptom of this? The symptom of this is, as you keep catching that gap between the two breaths, the body becomes absolutely still, and the breath has already become, by using the breath, the body becomes still, the mind becomes still, and you are able to feel the flux, you are able to feel the pulsation, you are able to feel the throb within the body, and slowly that throb takes over every cell in your body, and you feel over a period of time, you will feel that entire throb within the body. At one moment, every cell in your body is pulsating, and thus, where there is no air which can be differentiated as prana or apan, in other words, inhalation and exhalation, and you stay in the middle for a required period of time, it is equivalent to undifferentiated consciousness. This is a very, very simple and practical way to recognize that you are the undifferentiated consciousness, which is none other than the self. And in this way, so remember, before we were talking about the sandhi, the gap between the thoughts. Now it is gap between the two breaths, and when we come to that point, slowly, at its own pace, it can happen instantaneously also. The sarvatma bhav, that means that one is alone expressing in and through the entire, and there is nothing. Such a person is not conditioned by individuality and the differences and the duality, and thus comes to abide in his own essential nature. And in this manner, today's exercise or meditation, taking a comfortable position and bringing your attention to the breath. Very gently, not overfilling yourself with the in-breath, but gently allowing the breath to go in, and you gently maintain the silence and do not indulge in the exhalation of the breath. As long as it is comfortable. Don't overdo the holding of the breath. Otherwise, you will panic or you will gasp for out breath, and that will make the body shake. So very gently take short breaths, but catch the gap. And slowly, as your stamina increases to remain in the gap, the body will continue to become more and more stabilized. There is no thinking required here other than breathing in and maintaining the silence, or recognizing that silence where there is no breathing out taking place or no breathing in taking place. There is utter silence. There is no movement. The one who, in that space where there is no movement, it is conscious space. That conscious space is undifferentiated space. Why undifferentiated space? Because there's no activity or movement taking place. The moment activity comes, the space divides into this or that, namely in-breath or out-breath, but there is no movement taking place. So it is undifferentiated air. That undifferentiated air or space between the two breaths is undifferentiated consciousness. Keep applying yourself to be available to this undifferentiated air, and realize a very practical, simple, uncomplicated yoga bhumika, a foundation for the union yoga, union of individuality and the infinity, Atma and Paramatma, to come about. Patience is required. The self, the undifferentiated consciousness is not an object to be gained. It's a revelation, and the revelation happens where the observer dissolves as an entity. The individuality dissolves, the I dissolves. as you continue with this exercise of being in the middle of the two breaths, the body will become still. The in-breath will be also reduced in its length. Lesser the in-breath or the out-breath, more the stability.